But we are blessed with our first guest, of course, who arrived this morning at 28 minutes past 3.
The coach of the coach of the Crows, Neil Craig. Craigie, thanks for coming in.
Pleasure, guys. Absolute pleasure.
You flew from Adelaide to Melbourne and then to Kuala Lumpur, or direct from Adelaide to Kuala Lumpur?
No, directly from Adelaide to Kuala Lumpur.
So you had 2 days there?
No, we got there and we just had pretty much a day there. So the guys got a chance just to look around, and we had a brief training session at the University of Malaysia. Just a bit of ball touch and so forth. And got on a plane last night, and we arrived here at about 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. So
how was the flight, Craigie?
You would have enjoyed it, Ken. There was a couple of air pockets which you would have been absolutely at your best at.
They tell me one big air pocket. They tell me.
And we had a bit of an accident at the airport as well. The bus that the guys are on, there was a bit of an accident involved with the bus, so it was. So it hasn't all been plain sailing, but that in itself will be good for our squad.
Just back up a little bit there. A bit of an accident involving the bus.
What happened?
What sort of accident?
Oh, I think the bus was ready to leave the airport, and the taxi ran into one side of it, and someone ran on the other side. But anyway,
no one hurt?
No one hurt. No. It was a minor accident, but it caused a bit of commotion amongst the locals. So
apparently the police have to come regardless of how.
I think so. Yeah. That held us up a bit. So we didn't get sort of back to our hotel. I think we were scheduled about 5 o'clock, but we didn't get back till about 6:30. So the guys went straight to breakfast, and most of them are having a sleep at the moment, and we were having just a recovery session at the beach at 11 o'clock.
So how will they get into a routine, their sleeping patterns? So I guess you've got 4 or 5 days until you play on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty conscious of that, Graham. We've got plenty of time to get that time adjustment, and it's important that they do, because whilst it's it's great to come here and it's to see Dubai itself and what's going on here and the culture and so forth, it's still very much part of our preparation for the season proper. And it's important for us to make sure that our preparation is such that we can put some things into place. So we don't leave on Sunday of this week saying, well, the trip got us, and we didn't see the things that we wanted to see. So it's really important for our guys to prepare well.
And Neil, further pressure on the side with the unfortunate situation with young Rhett Biglins, who obviously would be shattered. That goes without saying, and we feel for the young kid. But pressure on the club now.
Yeah, there is, Ken. In our planning sort of end of last year, Rhett was always going to be a bonus for us.
Yep.
Because of the uncertainty of those types of injuries, just as we're treating Trent Henschel as a bonus if he can come up.
Yep.
But what it does do, of course, is it takes away a bit of depth in that department. And the guys who are going to have to take over, the most experienced one hasn't played 20 games yet. So it will put some pressure on that area, but if you're a young ruckman in our footy club, you'd be pretty excited because of the opportunity and the responsibility that those players will be given. So disappointment for Rhett, because his rehab was along with Trent was absolutely sensational.
Well, he wanted to play last year, as I understand it.
Yeah, and he was looking. His attention to detail in the rehab was absolutely exceptional. He was looking in great shape. Unfortunately, it's happened, and it looks like when he gets back next Tuesday, we're going in for another reconstruction.
That's not fair.
So the post-injury analysis of that, too many knee reconstructions fail. A lot of them don't fail, but too many do fail. So what sort of research will the club, who is renowned for its research and care, what will you do into it?
Well, they've already sort of gone back and looked at that, Graham, to the best of their ability. What else would we do differently? In not only in conjunction with the medical people at our football club, but in conjunction with the surgeons, that get involved with it. So I'm sure I know there has been some debriefing occur in that area. What would we do different if we go through that again? And looks like we will be going through it again. But at the time, you think you're doing absolutely everything you possibly can. You're doing it to the nth degree, and you're doing it correctly to the best of your ability. But seems to be with the bigger guys in particular, it just with their bigger levers, it's a difficult joint to get right.
What about the type of operation? Because there's different types of operation you can do for it. Probably there's nothing wrong with his rehab, what he's done, and it sounds like he's done it all impeccably. But the actual operation, are they picking the right one? Are they choosing the right one to do?
Well, that's always, who knows? There are some different techniques around, and certain surgeons favour one particular technique and the type of grafting that they do. But in the end, you make your choice and you get on with it. I'm not exactly sure yet what Rhett's decided about whether the same surgeon will do it again or whether he'll.
But he wants to play again. He's
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
to go through the whole thing,
He has to.
Neil.
I think there's two things there, Ken. First of all, he needs to go through it again,
Yeah. Yep.
just for the rest of his lifestyle, so he can actually live a normal life in terms of playing sport and what else. On top of that, of course, I mean, he hasn't given up hope of playing AFL football. It's a big ask, and he's been out of the game now. It will be for at least 2
He's
years
over 30.
towards the end of your career, so it'll be really tough. But I think the most important thing at the moment is that Rhett gets his mind around another rehabilitation, does it to the best of his ability, and then you make the decisions after that.
Craig, this is really exciting being here, but I've tried to put myself in your position a little bit, and it's probably an inconvenience to the senior. You can't admit that because it's sponsors and all that. So you've got to play a game. But as a coach who wants to prepare his players impeccably, it seems to me an inconvenience. Where you're staying is a massive new hotel, but it's in the middle of a construction site. So there's nothing really aesthetic about the blokes can't get it. They can barely get out and go for a walk, can they? You can't get down to the beach there. The beaches
He's
are
fussy, isn't he?
No, well, I think that's important when you come to a new place. However, you have to make the most of it, and you're going to be playing on a polo ground which doesn't have the dimensions or the ambience of a footy ground. How difficult is it? Not how difficult, but tell us about how you've gone about programming yourself to lead the boys over this week.
I think the best way to sum it up, Graham, is that in the level of sport that we compete in, you're always looking to do things absolutely perfectly if you can, which is exactly what you're talking about. But we know it's not a perfect world, so we see this as a great opportunity to be able to go and prepare and still perform when things aren't absolutely perfect for us, in terms of accommodation, in terms of the air flight over, in terms of with the accident at the airport, the bus, so that you get there late, it'll be a different ground. All those sorts of things, because there'll be things that are thrown up during the year which do throw you out of your routine. And, we don't want it to be an excuse football club. At the end, you know when you're going to play, and the very best performers can prepare and perform under any conditions. So in summary to our listeners and supporters, what we're saying here is that we're treating it very much as conditions won't be perfect. We're out of our routine. Are we still able to prepare and put on a very, very good performance?
You've seen that with international cyclists who fly over here, jump off and do it. But the guys are going to be jet lagged. They won't feel like doing a lot of stuff. And I'm intrigued as to whether your program is set and you're going to follow that religiously, or on the other hand, will you be listening to the guys and backing off if they start complaining about, feeling a bit flat?
Yeah, no. I mean, we've got our program in place. But, I as you know, I do take a lot of not advice, but I take a lot of feedback from the playing group about how they're feeling, because I've got a lot of trust in the group that they'll tell me how they're feeling. And if they're feeling poorly, it's not because they want to get out of work or not do the training. It's because that's exactly how they're feeling. So, and we'll make adjustments accordingly. But in the end, a lot of it comes back to the mentality of it. And, if your life depended on it, you wouldn't worry about jet lag. You'd still be able to find something and perform. And so, that's sort of the way we're trying to.
And with the elite soldiers, and like you took SAS guys and the Staff Force guys, and a lot of their training goes through sleep deprivation and different environments. So do you call on that